On top of that, according to the U.S. Department of Transportation, over 10,000 lives were lost in 2010, and in 2014, a little under 10,000 lives were lost. Fortunately, these numbers are going down, but the point is drunk driving is a choice, and it's a choice that can be prevented, as Kaylin will elaborate on later. These lives were only lost because one person made a terrible decision or they were just too lazy to get another ride. These statistics might just sound a lot like numbers to you, but each number is someone's child, their mother, or simply their loved one, and each number matters to somebody. I do have a personal story, unfortunately, and a girl named Taylor Dovin was from UND, and her and one of her friends were hit head-on by a drunk driver. Fortunately, the driver of her car survived, but she was in critical condition for many months, and her life has forever changed. After this, the Bismarck Figure Skating Club got together to celebrate Taylor's life, and which only means that about 200 people were affected by this one person's death. And would you want to be the person to affect 200 people's lives, let alone one person's life? I can tell you that it is not worth the pain that drunk driving can cause. Imagine seeing the look on a mother's face when she is told that her child has been killed due to your reckless actions. You'd have to live with that guilt for the rest of your life. I just don't understand people make that choice, and I will always step in if I hear someone is going to drive drunk. And I encourage you to do the same as well. Because who knows, you could save a life and a whole lot of guilt. And now Ben will explain the vast effects that drunk driving will have on you if you make that terrible decision.
The effects of drunk driving are costly and abundant. There's obviously the risk of injury and death, but you can't forget about getting arrested. If you get pulled over in North Dakota and a police officer will arrest you, you will go to jail, you will have to pay fines and fees, and you will lose your license. In North Dakota, let's make up a situation. You get pulled over, you have to do a breathalyzer test, and you go over a .08 BAC. That is over the legal limit, and the U.S. Department of Transportation automatically issues you a fine of $100. Don't forget that you're above the legal limit. This means that you're going to go to jail. Now, to get out of jail, you need to pay bail. Bail can be up to $2,000. Sometimes your car will be towed. To go to the impound and get it back, you need to pay up to $150 for that. Lastly, you will lose the privilege of having a driver's license. To get this back, you need to pay your time, and then you have to go to the DMV to get a new one. This can cost anywhere from $50 to $150. You have to pay court costs, attorney fees, driver's education classes, and most likely increased insurance. A lot of these fees have fine print to do with little things that were on the police report, but on average a DUI comes out to be $4,000 to $10,000. These are just the costs. Donald Freeman from alcoholalert.com talks about a huge list of negative effects that happen from getting arrested for drunk driving. I've covered the main topics, but there's also little ones like community service and also the possible loss of a job. The list goes on and on. This is just a taste of the effects that can have on you. Next, I'm going to ask you some questions that Kaylin, Megan, and I have talked about. Can you afford these costs? Is it worth all the pain that you give to your friends, families, yourself, and your wallet? And what's the point? What's the risk of getting killed, injured, and or arrested for just trying to get home? I hope all of this makes it clear. You'll know the answer to all of these questions. Knowing all the consequences in advance should help you have a clear answer to these. Odds are you have to make this choice sometime in your lifetime. So now I'm going to turn over to Kaylin, who's going to tell you about the smart options that you can do when faced with this task.
There are many alternatives to driving while intoxicated. Your first choice is to pay for a ride home. There are many options for this, including taking a bus, train, or cab, or using numerous smartphone apps. Taking a bus or